All
All
right.
right.
Well,
Thanks very much.
the goal of this is to get you guys comfortable with the platform, give you a bit of an intro, sort of highlight some key things about using using the Next Insurance platform. We can have I don't want to go too far in the weeds about appetite, just because that can be an hour-long conversation in itself. This is more of just to show you how it looks, how it feels, some key points that I want you guys to be thinking about when you start using the Next Insurance technology. And let's get started. So, broad overview of what we're going to talk about today. I'll just talk to you about Next Insurance. We'll talk about our broad appetite, some of the industries we're seeing a lot of success in so far, and then sort of how that relates to you. Most of this meeting is going to be based around actually using the technology, so I'm going to give you a little demo. I'm going to give you a little caveat. Our demo platform, for whatever reason, is having some bugs occasionally, so we may have to pause and I may have to explain something, but it should be smooth. If not, though, don't be surprised by it. We were working out some kinks in the actual demo platform. Most of our engineering bandwidth is focused on the actual live agent platform. So forgive me if there's some kinks. We'll end the conversation. We'll end it with kind of going over customer service and how to think about that. Renewals, claims, that sort of thing. And then we'll end it. Frequently throughout, I will be stopping and asking you guys for questions. So please chime in, speak up if you have a question. There's obviously the chat tool. So Joanna's going to be tracking that. And when I pause for questions, Joanna will jump in if you guys had written anything then. So, all right. So who is Next Insurance? I know Scott's already explained a little bit of who we are to you, but to give you a little more of a background, we've been around for about 3 years, and we're a fully vertically integrated insurance technology company. And what this means is that we are using technology at every stage of the insurance process. That means we are using technology to underwrite, to quote, to bind, to service, and we're actually starting to use technology more and more to manage claims. And we're all doing this in-house, or everything actually but claims for the most part. We're doing it all in-house, and we've seen a lot of success from using this model because we thought that the small business space is a place that really needed a technology disruption and address, and we feel like that's what we're doing here. And to give you a bit of background of how we've been successful until this point, we have almost actually now 50,000 active policies with Next Insurance. We've raised over $131 million in funding through our Series B in the last 3 years. All of our products are written on A-rated paper. We're selling in all 50 states. And we have an incredibly high customer service and review score. I mean, our NPS score is right now one of the highest in the insurance space, and it's because customer service and a great customer experience is something we value. So why have we had success? Some key differentiators is we're using technology, so we've cut out a lot of the overhead, and so therefore our costs are lower when we pass it along to the customer. We also have added some features, and we've just created a great user experience, which you don't normally get with these legacy insurance carriers. And what this has created for these customers is this Amazon-like experience that everyone has come to expect from everyone. They want something for cheap, and they want it right now. And we're trying to give that to them with Next Insurance, and not just, I don't like the word cheap, but affordable, because we do think that we are providing a quality product to our customers. So what exactly are we selling? You're probably asking. Right now we're selling general liability, professional liability, and so that's errors and omissions, and we're selling commercial auto. Those are the 3 lines of business. So property, we're not doing yet. That's coming down the line. Right now, it's general liability, professional liability, and commercial auto. Workers' comp is also something that's coming, but for the next 3 months, you want to think about us if you have a GLPL or commercial auto customer. What are our limits? Less than $5 million in revenue. That is what we consider a small business, and that's who we're targeting. And less than $5 million in payroll. Commercial auto, we're not talking crazy commercial auto, not long-haul trucking, and not big companies with lots of vehicles, 4 vehicles or less, and businesses, and they're not driving more than 200 miles. So this just kind of tell you who we're broadly. These are the industries that we're selling to. Construction is a very successful industry for us. We're very competitive. Consultants, we're very competitive. Cleaning companies, restaurants, professional services. And when I say trucking, this is actually trucking. This is GL only. We're actually doing GL and commercial auto. But for commercial auto, it's very light. So it's like you're a moving truck and you have a moving business and you do that in the city. So it's a light trucking commercial auto policy.
What's the gross vehicle weight that you'll go up to on that?
You know what? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay. But is it more of the lighter to medium size probably, not the real heavy trucks?
Yeah.
So for the trucks, it's anything with 4 wheels. You can think of it that way. It's not limited by the gross vehicle weight.
Gotcha.
It's limited by the model that we're able to insure. And so when you go through the commercial auto application, if you are able to select a make and model, then we can insure it. If not, then we won't be able to.
Okay, thank you.
If I have a trucking company, can you insure the private passenger vehicles they might have, like either the owners that own individually or sales vehicles, if we carve that out of our fleet?
Yeah. Again, if it's a 4 wheels and it's, on the list of the make and model, then yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Are there any more questions? Okay.
Hi, it's Patsy. What liability symbol are you writing?
What liability symbol?
For the auto?
Yep, are you writing symbol 1 on the auto?
Yeah.
Joanna?
So we're writing owned vehicles right now. I think, is that what you're asking? I'm not really, sorry, I'm not really familiar.
Symbol 1, the any auto or
yeah, we're writing owned right now.
Only owned?
Yeah,
okay.
So we're not doing like hired and non-owned and those. We're only doing owned.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
A quick note about our commercial auto program. Right now we are in 40 states. We're not in all 50 states with commercial auto just yet. Florida is one of the states that we are not in. Joanna, do you know, I don't know, I actually don't know this. Do you have a sense of timeline on when Florida is supposed to be ready or?
No, I don't.
Well, Florida for now, there's no commercial auto, but are available in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the GL and the PL are available in Florida?
Yes.
Or is none of it available in Florida yet?
No, GL and PL is available in Florida.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
So back into this, actually, I always put this slide in here because question especially when we first launched from agents was, what are you guys really good at? And where can we win business? And so this is sort of I like this slide because it gives you a sense of where we're winning a lot of business right now. So you can see where we're winning a lot of business from the direct to consumer facing side and where we're winning a lot of business on through agents right now. General contractors is obviously the number one. We are the only company that you can auto bind, completely go from application to quote to bind all instantly online with general contractors. So that's a huge advantage for us. We do really good business with them. And you see on here a lot of artisan contractors. You also see on here some consulting companies. You see some restaurants, some cleaners. So along the lines of the industries I talked about before, but these are where we're selling the most amount of policies. And this is a look at it year to date. So what does this mean for you guys? And hopefully I can show this to you, but just to sort of give you a prep of what I want you to be looking for in this is that you get a very simple, streamlined application, instant quoting and binding. That means there's no dialogue with underwriters. We're going to give you 3 simple packages to select from, not a Chinese menu selection of options. There's a very intuitive customer portal where these smaller businesses take care of a lot of their business on their own. And we also have a customer service team that can help you guys. And what we're trying to achieve with this is that it's very simple to sell and service these policies. So before I go into the technology, do we have any more questions about Next? Nope. All right. Well, let me get into the portal here. I'm going to pause my screen for just a second. And I will show you guys what the portal looks like. Okay, so what you're about to see here is our agent portal. It is fairly straightforward, fairly simple. can see you have your list of customers. You have a few features that I'll show you after we're finished doing a quote. Okay, so what you're going to use, before I move in here, I apologize, what you're going to use to get into here is Scott's going to get some information from you guys, and all you're going to need is your email address that you provide. So any user who wants to use our platform will need their email address for, and you enter your email address, there'll be a verification code sent to that email address. You enter in the verification code, and now you're in for the next 12 hours. So all you need is your email address to get in. There's no username, there's no passwords. All right, this is the start of the application. You can see here, you can select your business. We'll do carpentry. Contractors, as I said, is something we're very good at. I want you guys to be thinking about contractors when you're using us. So I'm gonna go with the carpentry application for today. You can select the line of business you wanna start with. So we'll do general liability here, but you can do, if you're outside of Florida, you can do standalone commercial auto. We'll select our state. Since I'm in California, we'll do California. And here, this is very important. This is gonna be the customer's email address, not your email address. And I want to assure you guys that when you enter the customer's email address here, you're not gonna start sending them emails until they've actually bound a policy. So, but we do need the customer's email address in here. This is gonna allow you guys to locate that quote. And also you'll see at the end of this flow what happens. There's things that happen that we need the customer to accept and agree for legal purposes. So make sure that this is the customer's email address. And 6, 7, 8, and next. This is the customer's email address. I know I entered, it seems like my email. It's the customer. I'm hearing some wind come through. I don't know if we just need to hit a quick mute. Okay, so here, pretty basic information. Log in very quickly. You know, for this, I'll actually use my address in San Francisco. So if you guys ever are in San Francisco, you can come visit me. So Barry, you know, Nate's Neat Woodworking Co. Next. Once again, these should be fairly straightforward questions. You know, this shouldn't be any different from what you're currently asking your customers. When do you start your business? When would you like coverage to start? We'll say today. One question that I do get fairly often is, do you guys insure new ventures? And the answer to that question is yes, we do insure new ventures. If they could have started their business today, and we will write them a policy. Go ahead and hit next. I'm going to spend a little more time on this screen. Anytime you see a percentage question in our application, you need to be aware of the fact that there are typically coverage implications with these percentage questions. This should be fairly similar to what you've seen in other application pages, but just to drive this point home, if, for example, you have a carpenter and you say that right now they do 100% interior repair and remodeling, and they go and work on a garage, that work on the garage will not be covered as this policy is right now. So just make sure that you're entering it, you're giving a percentage point, at least allotting 1 percentage point to all the different activities you think your contractor will be doing. The policy does have coverage. Are there any questions about this page? No. Okay. Revenue. We'll say $100,000. Will be just a one-man shop. You're going to see here that this is a dynamic application. So we're not going to make you read questions that you don't need to read. We'll say that $10,000. Your subcontractors only do work similar to your own work and operations. We're going to say yes here. If you say no to this question, they need to go to our Good General Contractor funnel. So if you're subcontracting out more than 50% of your revenue, or your subcontractors are doing a different activity than the profession you selected, then they're a general contractor, and you can get to note about subcontractors, please pass this along to your customers if you can. They need to carry coverage with limits greater or equal to their own. You know, they need to have certificate insurance. They can cover We have another percentage question here. We'll say 100% residential, but these also have coverage. Okay, so in every application, we ask a few questions, and you'll start to get a sense of this the more and more you quote, and it's a little different in every application, where there are going to be decline implications. So if I were to answer, do you perform work in the state of New York to this question, if I were to click yes, then this policy you wouldn't even be able to get a quote. So I'll get to the end of the application, and normally what happens is you get a quote, but we'll just say like, you get a sad robot, and they'll say, we can't insure this customer. And then we'll actually tell you exactly why. So we'll say, hey, we can't insure this customer because they are doing work in the state of New York. If you had clicked yes by mistake, then it's simple for you to go back and change that to a no. But we let you know immediately why that policy came. I'm not going to do that here, but we'll say no. Have you filed any business insurance claims for the past 3 years? We'll say no. A common question I get is, do we accept businesses with losses, with a loss record? The answer is, if they have more than 2 claims in the last 3 years, we will not accept their business. If they have more than $20,000 worth in claims in the last 3 years, we will not accept that business. That is sort of our loss appetite. About the work, and you'll see this in all of our applications, and highly recommend you communicate this and take a look at these. We always call out our exclusions ahead of time. So you don't have to dig through policy docs to figure out what the exclusions are, and neither does, hopefully that's for your customer. If you have a carpenter, and I know you guys are in Florida, and they're doing some of you are in Florida, and they're doing a lot of hurricane shutter installation, just know that this policy is not going to cover that. And if you know they're doing a lot of that kind of work, maybe Next isn't the best fit for them. And to be clear, there's no way for you guys to call an underwriter and say, hey, can we get this added? The beauty of our system is that it's all done online and it's all done instantly. And so what we can insure, you're going to know right then and there. There's no reason to put them talking. Can you confirm that all these are true? These are pretty straightforward questions. Are you a felon? Are you bankrupt? We're going to confirm that all these are true. We're not bankrupt. We're not felons. And right here in all of our GL applications, there is a question that will bring you into the commercial auto funnel. So if we click yes on this, we could go into our commercial auto funnel. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that today, but it will switch you into that, except if you're in Florida, and hopefully that will be changed soon. All right, so calculate the quote. Before I go through this quote screen, are there any questions? Have there any questions that have come through?
I have a question. It's Patsy at Gulf Shore.
Okay.
When you, if we get to the point where we're going to get a proposal or a summary of coverages, do those items that this GL excludes or will not apply to, does that list print on the proposal or the quote or anything? Just as like another reminder to the insured,
Yeah, so we are working on getting that added to the download quote feature right now, and that's something that should be coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Currently, the exclusions are not on there. And then the other part, you were saying having them agree, Nate's going to show this, but why it's really important that they have the email in the very beginning is we send them terms and conditions to agree to. So that kind of covers the initialing part. But right now, the proposal doesn't have the exclusions on there, but they'll be added in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
To add to Joanna's point, the terms and conditions that the customer receives is just essentially us going, hey, we run some background checks in the background when we're doing this. We want to make sure that you're aware of this and you're okay with it, and that also that you are aware and understand everything about the policy. Now, we don't actually list the exclusions in that terms and conditions acceptance page. This is why we realized we made a quote proposal that didn't have this, and so we're actually working on quickly fixing that proposal, so then you guys can present that. There are a few workarounds. I'm happy to show you A lot of our agents aren't having an issue communicating that. They're being able to use a quote proposal fine, but if you would like to be able to present the exclusions, I can talk to you offline about how you can do that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So you have gotten your quote. Wow, my voice I shouted, sorry. You got your quote. You have these 3 different packages. You have a good, better, best. You have your basic, you have your pro, you have your pro plus. The better, best options also include your errors and omissions coverage. Once again, you cannot change these things. What we are offering to you, what you see here is what we are offering. We found that 99% of 90% of people like just having 3 options. It makes it easier for them to just decide. And we used to present a whole different selection, but we've decided to move away from that and just give something as simple and as easy as possible. So three easy selected quotes. You'll also see on this page here too is just what's exactly going to be covered. And then once again, we sort of call out some of the exclusions that we know people will have questions on, and we want to make extra sure that they're aware of. For example, if you're a carpenter, you cannot do standalone roofing jobs. Now, with that being said, if you are a carpenter and you do want to do standalone roofing jobs, you can go into our general contractor portal, and there is a standalone roofing option. So it's just this portal specifically you can't do it with, but you can do it with other coverages. So what we'll do here is we'll select the pro plan. And this is going to be a direct, this is direct. So we want the customer's information here. We don't want you guys to be putting your card down. We need the customer's card here. We only accept credit and debit cards at this time. So ACH, none of that stuff is none of like direct deposit is available. It's got to be credit card and debit card information. You can you can choose a monthly payment plan. There are no additional fees for the monthly payment plan, or you can switch to annual here and pay the whole policy at once. We'll switch back to monthly. So we'll say that since I am the customer, I'll enter some card information here. 06, 2013. Oh, 2013 was not this year. 445, and then we pay. So you can see that, I started probably talking about this funnel about 10 minutes ago. And even with me stopping and explaining and answering questions and walking through each piece, it really only took me 10 minutes. And you can imagine, I hope that you guys can imagine how quickly you're going to be able to do these once you have gotten comfortable with the portal and know how to navigate. Okay, so you see here, this policy will not be considered active until they've read and accepted terms and conditions. We referenced this earlier. So we can go back to the agent portal, and I'll show you what an email the customer is going to receive. And this is why we need the customer's email. And you can actually see here too, we're going to tell you that, hey, Nate Bernstein, you just picked a policy for, there's a lot of Nate Bernsteins out there. You just picked a policy for Nate Bernstein. You just selected a policy for Nate Bernstein. This is the one we did. It's only paid. It has not been active. So this is a way for you to see that they have not accepted the terms and conditions. I will show you, let me pull up my email to show you exactly the terms and conditions email the customer will receive. I apologize. So you guys see this email here? Can everyone see my email? Mm-hmm. All right, so it says, hi, Nate Bernstein. This is the customer. The email we receive, your policy will not consider active, is the same sort of thing. They click review the terms and conditions. They can review the terms and conditions here. They hit accept. Once they've hit accept, their business is now covered. Even if they hit accept the next day, the coverage will be backdated to the previous day if they wanted coverage to start the day before. So there won't be a lack in coverage. And at the point of time when the customer hits accept, they will receive an email that looks like this. Can you guys see my screen here?
Mhm.
So you will also receive an email that has the policy documents in it. And this will give you a way to take a very closer look. We have some examples of sample policy documents. If any of you guys would like one or two of them, I'm happy to share some of this with you. So you can take a look if you really want to dig into the language. So that is how it will work. You will also be able to go back to the customer portal here. Here, let me make sure that I'm right. I have a few tabs open. And you should be able to see in real time that this policy has now been active because he's selected it, and you can select the policy details. Now, if, for example, you have a customer and you want to actually purchase the quote that you've sent to them, you have a retrieve quote function here, and this will pull up the quote that you previously ran. You cannot edit the application at this time. It's something that we're working on adding. So if you realize that you entered the wrong address, you just have to do a new application for it. But this is where you can retrieve a previous quote. You can also download the quote. And this is, like I said earlier, pretty straightforward, pretty bare bones. It's just going to give you a general overview of what's covered in the policy. And we're working on adding those exclusions, et cetera. And once again, if you guys need a workaround, I'm happy to talk to you guys about that offline. Are there any questions before I move off of this portal? I think there's a chat here.
Yeah, we have a chat question about servicing. I think I would like to answer this question a little bit later when we get to the customer service and servicing part, because then it'll make a lot more sense. So Linda, just hold tight. We'll answer your question in a little bit.
Well, Joanna, why don't you go ahead? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, just my question was, when it generated the quotes, you gave 3 options. Are there any presets that our agency can set? And I'll give you a reason why, because we typically under liability only offer the 1 mil, 2 mil. So can we somehow do away with the lower limit option so that it doesn't, we don't make an error by mistake of clicking the wrong one for binding?
Right now, we don't have that function.
Okay. No problem. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. Sorry. Right now, we don't have that option. But sometimes, though, it will only display the 1 million, 2 million. And that happens when they've reached the lowest price we're legally able to offer. In that case, it will only show one package, which is the highest package.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
And if something you feel like, and this is, we launched our agent portal, full transparency. We've been direct to customer for the majority of our existence. We launched our agent portal this year. So it's a fairly young system. And if you guys have feedback that you would like, you want to see improvements, and we want that feedback. We want to be fixing these things. So, feel free to email me, email Joanna, give us a call, especially, when we're doing this first month period, because we really want to know what you guys need and what you need and what you want, and what will help you sell more next insurance policies. And so we want that feedback. If that's something that you feel is really important to you, then that's something we will now consider and make sure that our engineering team is starting to get aware of. And I'm kind of rambling here, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
We do. Thank you.
So actually, Joanna, let's talk about customer service. I think that's where we're at here. So if you want to talk to them about it.
So the question that Linda had is, can waivers be added in additional insured request? So what Nate has pulled up right now is the customer-facing portal customer account that we've built out for our customers. And again, we've built this out because we've been direct to customer. And so we want the customer to be able to self-service 24/7 if possible. And so from here, they're able to add additional insureds directly, send out proofs of insurance with the additional insured on them as a certificate holder. Every single policy that we issue is issued with a blanket additional insured endorsement. That's how they're able to do this themselves. So that's the first way we want the customer to be serviced, is if they're comfortable with this, they can self-service. The second way that they can get waivers, and this is actually the only way they can get waivers, or if they need a CG 2010, 2037, something a little bit more complicated than just adding a cert holder, they call our customer service team. That's the 855-222-5919 number. Our customer service team, everyone is a licensed insurance agent. I used to be part of that team. And, that's where our NPS score comes from. Customers love us. You can read the reviews. We're very, very helpful. And so that's the second way the customer can be serviced. The third way, because we understand, sometimes the customer sees you guys as their insurance company, and you're their main point of contact. And the third way is for you guys to go ahead, directly pick up the phone and call that number or email us. And then you, on behalf of the customer, we can help you with any waivers or any kind of endorsements that you will need for any of the policies. So in terms of specifically for waiver subrogation, we're able to issue those. It's an up to 10% price increase for some of the policies. And again, for those details, we'll let you know before we make the change. Does that answer your question, Linda? Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So let's take a look at this customer portal here. So this is pretty bare bones, but this gives customers. We find that almost 50% of all customers who get a policy with us are actually using this the very next day. And so you can see here that we've added some features that maybe hopefully take the burden off you guys to do some stuff where, like, for example, printing out a COI, which is something that we think the customers should be able to do themselves. So very simple. If they just need a certificate of insurance, you can share proof of insurance here. We have a live certificate where they can share the link and then people can see that they're live. If you want to actually take a look at the Accord form, they can print it out themselves. It's all very intuitive. The vast majority of our customers are doing these things with very little actual customer call interaction. For all of our policies have, and Joanna, cut me off here if I'm overstating this, all of our policies have blanket additional insured.
Yep.
So, okay, cool. So it's very simple for them to add an additional insured. We'll say Mark Katchmer, who lives at 119 Cherry Street. Type San Francisco, we'll say California. We don't email it, we want to add it and send it to them ourselves. Now the additional insured has been added. This is blank additional insured. There's been no change in premium. There's no additions in premium when this is happening. And you can see here that the certificate holder has now been added. And they have an unlimited number of COIs here. Go ahead.
Can you include the form, the AI form? Sometimes when you do an AI, they want to see the actual form along with the certificate. Is there a way for them to attach that as well?
So that would be in the policy documents. And so you would, if you want to do it yourself, you would have to clip out the AI endorsement from the policy documents. Or again, if you give our customer service team a call, this is something that we do all the time. So we can do that for you.
Great, thank you.
So, it's pretty straightforward here. You can edit payment information. You can do claims. We also have we've partnered with Wave. So if they want to get, electronic payroll, they can do that here. There are also ways to notify them about different things. We can text them and they can turn on these alerts. Before I move off of the customer facing portal, are there any questions about this anymore? And you guys have been a very engaged audience. I appreciate it. Okay, cool. So Joanna has asked you guys to send your customers to us because we hope they're taking some of the burden off of your work. That is our goal. With the customer service team is not to sort of get in the way of your relationship, but just to help you. And we know that having great technology is great and all, but when you don't have really good people backing that technology, it's all for naught. And so we have we've made a huge effort of building out a really impressive customer service team. Joanna, as she mentioned, actually came from our customer service team, and because frankly, they hire very talented people, and we are always looking for people to join our team. And so Joanne has been an excellent addition, and she's just an example of the quality that comes from this customer service team. And what they are is 25, they're over 25 licensed insurance agents. They're not here to sell your clients on anything. They're here to service them. And also, if you guys have really technical questions about a policy, I know you want to talk to me. I know I'm great to talk to, but they are the better people to ask those questions about. If you have like a question very specifically about a consultant policy, like that, they turn to them, they'll be able to answer your questions. And they do things incredibly quickly. They do things incredibly efficiently. To give you some really, really cool statistics, over 90% of all business inquiries, that's whether it's done left a voicemail, whether it's been a phone call, whether it was an email, whether it was a chat. We have a chat box tool, which you'll probably see. All these business inquiries, over 90% of them are resolved within one business day. Even more impressive is that over 90% of all calls are answered. So half the time you don't even get the voicemail. Over 90% of the time you call the customer hotline, someone is picking up. And this doesn't mean like a 10-minute hold to talk to someone. This means you call the normal amount of rings and you're now speaking with someone. Our customer service team is there. We have one based in Palo Alto. We also have a big service center based in Austin. So I'm not going to go here now just because I've been jumping between screens a lot, but we have a live, unfiltered review page on our website. That's how confident we are in our product and the service that we offer. And the reason why I'm bringing it up here is that if you go to this webpage, you're going to see some 1 stars. I'm not going to lie. You're going to see some 2 stars, but you're going to see a lot of 5 stars. And if you dig into those 5 stars and why they're there, it's oftentimes because of our customer service team. And I'm doing and I know I'm really hammering this customer service point home here, but I really want you guys to feel comfortable with us helping you take care of your customers. It is something we take very seriously. Okay, so quickly go over claims. This is a fairly out-of-date slide just because this year we're starting to move it in-house. I think about 20 to 25% of claims are moved in-house. But for the other 80%, I'll touch on it. We report a claim. We have a third-party adjuster that we report it to. The third-party adjuster starts the adjudication process. With them, we have a very aggressive. We very aggressively manage the claims process. So we have a quality assurance point person. We meet with our TPA every 3 days. We have a standing meeting. We're constantly reviewing claims, and we actually also play a role in reaching out to connecting with the insureds and the people actually filing the claim. Maybe Joanna, you could talk a little bit about our claims process in-house.
Yeah, of course. So the claims process in-house right now is based out of Palo Alto in Texas, and we're bringing that online. Nate mentioned it's about 20%. So I'm sure you guys understand, depending on how complex the claim is, it might take longer, but our running average for decisioning and paying out a claim in-house right now is 9 business days, which is much, much lower than the industry standard, because the industry standard is about, I believe, around 28 business days. So that's why we want to bring it in-house, because then we can see exactly what our loss ratio is and can reflect that in the products that we're building for these small businesses. And that's where the really tailored portion of it comes in. So right now, what the slide will look differently is that the customer reports claim to Next Insurance, and then Next Insurance is going to start the claim adjudication process, and then we decision and pay out the claims ourselves.
And Joanna, is our OKR for our goal for the end of this year is to be at 80% claims in-house, handled in-house, correct?
Yeah, so somewhere around there. Yeah, definitely. Just basically the majority of it we're going to bring in-house. And once we get our Austin team up and running, we're hiring very aggressively there. We'll be able to start adjudicating quite quickly, like 80%. Okay.
Before I just show you some contact and follow-up information. In fact, I don't even need to share the slide with you because we'll send the emails out to you guys. We'll send you you'll have information from us. Renewals. That's a question. There's a slide I need to add to this presentation is a renewal slide, but it almost doesn't need it's very simple. Depending on the class of business and the state that they're in, we are going to either 90, 60, or 30 days out send you and the insured a notification of the renewal upcoming. At the time of the renewal, we will just charge the card that's on file. And so it's seamless. It's done. That's you know, it's going to be very quick and easy. You will get a notification of it. The customer will get a notification of it. Right now, we're not turning that off. If that's something that is a concern, though, it's something that has been flagged to me before. If that's a major concern, then we can talk about that. Are there any questions about Next? I know we've spent a long time here talking about it. I've talked a lot, so I'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts are, or any more questions you may have.
I'm sorry, Nate. I might have missed this. Did you say on the renewal you're going to charge the card that's on file, but we will not be notified?
No, you will
be notified.
You will be notified.
We will be. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
If we need to make changes to a policy, is that something we do in the portal, or do we submit it?
You would call our customer service team right
So
now.
we would call. Okay. And then for claims, is it required that the client calls, or can we put a claim in on their behalf as their agent?
As their agent, you can start the filing process. We do have to speak with the insurer,
absolutely,
obviously, but you can definitely start the process for them.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, you would call us or email us, and then the customer can also do it themselves from their customer portal. They can start that process.
Perfect.